Shortly after my son was born and my then husband and I bought a 100-year-old house for our expanding family, which included the three of us and our medium-large dog. As someone who grew up afraid of the dark, after a strange incident with a neighbor boy looking in my windows as a child, I repeatedly had to tell myself that the creaks and thumps and sounds were normal for a house of that age, with the old growth trees that bumped the roof and scraped the windows at night, and the noisy radiant heat in the back gate that wouldn't stay shut and clank in the wind. I would hear something instead of investigating. I would hide under the covers like any reasonable adult. When my then husband and I split up, I kept the creaky house and kept the medium-large dog. When my son was still small, the two of us were watching a movie in the front room around dusk when my phone died. As a type B personality, the one charger I had was typically drawn somewhere about the house. This time I found it in the kitchen. But as I crossed to the counter to plug it in, I had the overwhelming goosebumps, tingling, sinking sense that something was very, very wrong. I turned and I realized that not only was the back gate open again, someone was sitting there, cross-legged in the yard, seamlessly staring at the house. They had a hood and dark sunglasses, despite the fleeting light, and didn't move even when I stepped closer to the window to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. They remained eerily motionless when I was certain they could see me. And still, even when I was pretty sure they could see that I had seen them, I quickly locked the back door, grabbed my phone and my charger, and headed into the dining room to my laptop, when I sent the first person I could see online a message that someone was sitting in my yard, staring at my house, and that my phone was dead, and to please call the police if they didn't hear from me in a few minutes. I assumed whoever was in the yard would leave one-sided, but nevertheless waited on tenterhooks, impatiently staring at my still useless phone. After an awkward conversation with my son about why we weren't going to the kitchen to get a glass of water, it finally lit up, and I was able to call 911. I tried calmly to explain to the dispatcher that I was sure that the person was gone, but begged that they please send an officer to check my yard, as the motionless staring was unsettling at best. Keeping me on the phone, she asked if I could look outside the window without being seen to verify, as I well-checked the locked door. I awkwardly knelt-kept as stealthily as I could towards the kitchen, slowly realizing that while the back door was locked, I also had a very clearly too large dog door with no functioning way to block it. Panicking, I stood slightly in an attempt to scan the yard and came face to face with a hood and sunglasses staring down at me through the window. At this point, I was incoherent as the dispatcher urged me to grab my son and hightail it to the lock room. I darted back to him and explained we need to go, now, and as I picked him up, I hear the clear and unmistakable sound of the dog door slowly swinging open. I abandoned the house, leaving the front door wide open, and dashed across the street to pound my neighbor's door. Once inside, they kindly paused the dinner party to distract my son, while I stared across the street and messily sobbed about our very indoor cat we left behind. Not long after the officer arrived, they came through the side gate with the hood and sunglasses in tow. They apprehended her calmly sitting on the back step, her arm lazily, purposely swinging in and out of the dog door. I boarded the dog door shut that night, but we moved shortly thereafter, as I was never quite sure after that if all the nighttime knocks and bumps and open gates I've been hearing were actually just the old house.